Hey everybody, it's Stress Van in Jaeger's house, and I am starting to do crazy stuff with my facial hair just because I'm bored with my life and I want to do something exciting. But in this video, we're going to be continuing our training with Cain. Now, unfortunately, something happened with the formatting in my memory card and I lost a lot of videos. So we kind of skipped a few steps, but I'll try to explain during this video the steps that we've covered already and get into his training. So the first thing we're going to be doing now is every time I pull him out, I put him into the place and I do what we call loading the mark. Loading the mark is where I just say yes, feed, yes, feed, yes, feed to make sure he's getting with it. Notice his tail's wagging. Notice he's not on leash. He doesn't have an e-collar on, nothing, but I do have control because we are in the fenced-in area. There are distractions. I have 4 kennels up and I have 3 other dogs out. 2 puppies and another dog, but I'm letting him smell a little bit and then I'm going to get his attention and move on. Now, as we progress with our training, I'm going to start demanding more and more engagement and focus out of him, and I'm going to start incorporating using the e-collar, and I'll show how I started incorporating that later. But here I'm telling him to place, and now I'm starting to add in the good marker. Now remember, the good marker is the continuation or the duration marker. It means you did what's expected, but keep doing it to receive your reward. Now, in the beginning stages of the good marker, I'll give him periodic rewards while he's doing it to keep him there. Sometimes if you rush the good and not give it anything, they kind of break it. But here I'm adding distance as well, and I'm turning away from him and calling him into a heel position. Now, all I'm doing now is shaping the behaviors that we're going to do formally later, but we're just experimenting and playing with it. So I place him. He's still not getting to the point where I would like to where I could stand away at long distances and send him out to place, but he's doing good. My goal is to be able to stand at a good distance away, send them to the to the place command, recall them, do it like an obedience there. So with me turning my back to him, that's very tempting for a dog to break the command. They feel that you're not paying attention to them. They want to break the command and come up to you to get your attention again. So when you train this, start doing different body positionings relation to the dog. I have a lot of people say, oh, my dog's really obedient, and they say sit down and everything. I say, okay, now turn your back to him and give the commands, and the dog hardly ever listens. So incorporate that in your training. So here I'm adding duration as well as distance. So place command, I say the nuh-uh, which is the try again, because remember, right now we're giving no correction, no physical correction. Everything that we're doing now is verbal. So I walk back over, he gets a little distracted with the puppies. I try to get his attention back, but there's no force. So then I just tell him to place, he gets excited, tell him to sit, he sits. I walk away, and then I call him into a heel. Another thing that I don't do is I do not give the stay command. I am a proponent of not having to say stay. If you say sit, that should mean sit and stay. If you say down, that should mean down and stay. So I don't keep harping the stay command. I want the dog to learn to listen the first time and to do it then. So here, once again, I get his attention, he comes back to me, I tell him to place, he places, I tell him to sit, there's a nuh-uh there, he sits, I say good, I make distance, I'm keeping an eye on him, I walk a good ways, and now I recall him, and I recall with just the name. With my working dogs and a lot of other dogs, I will do 2 different recalls. I'll do their name, and then I will do like a here. And what that means is, like, if we're just out playing or something, whenever I call their name, that just means focus on me, come to me. But then I also really hit that here command as a life or death situation, and I only use that with heavy things. So here I put him in a down, and then I get excited, releasing, put him in a place. He doesn't get all 4 on there, so I tell him to place again, nuh-uh, sit, good, distance. And then I'm going to call him into a heel, and he comes in, and I just shape it. I mean, I'm not expecting him to walk in heel or to be totally square with my body. I'm just getting him used to hearing the word heel and coming to that side. So sometimes whenever I do sessions, I'll end it when the dog does what I want it to do 3 times in a row without excessive help. And then as we get better and better, then that help gets away. And then I'll just, whenever I add something new, if they can do it 3 times in a row, then I'll cut it quits, done. And if there's days where they're just having a really hard time with it, I'll just go ahead and skip it and just finish it on a good note. So here I recall him and I send him back. And now you'll notice that I'll start doing intermittent rewards. You don't want to keep doing 1-for-1. What I mean is, click reward every single time, because then you get the dog in the habit of having to be rewarded every single time. And then the second you don't reward them or you don't have a reward for them, they become really upset with you because you're not paying them what they're used to. So early in the stages, I'll start mixing it up. I'll make them do 2 or 3 commands and then reward them. I'll do 2 or 3, 4, 5 and give them a big reward. So don't get in the habit of doing 1-for-1s. Once they understand what's expected, start changing it up a little bit. So I place him, he sits, back turned, walking away. I face him, I recall him, I tell him to sit, he sits, I tell him to down, he downs. Notice I have not rewarded him. I tell him to place, he's kind of iffy about it, he places, and now I give him a good, solid reward. Instead of giving him 1 or 2 pieces of kibble, I gave him a whole handful there. So I get his attention back towards me. He's starting to get hot. It was a little warmer today than it has been the last couple days. So I just let him smell things out. I try to get his attention, and then I call him back towards me. I give him a command and I reward. A lot of times, some trainers will say, you never let them stray away from you. You always want to keep them engaged. Well, in the beginning stages, I let them explore. And then once they come back to me, we start training again, and they realize, hey, if I stick around this guy and keep training with this guy, I get more rewards than just smelling the ground. So over the first beginning of the learning stages, I let them explore. I let them be a dog. And then they eventually understand that focusing on me is more rewarding for them. So we have a few more repetitions here. And he's doing really good. So now I get his ball, which is his high motivator. I throw it, release him, and then I say, free, all done.